Banjo Dreamie. This is one of the first ROM hacks I've ever played for Banjo-Kazooie on the Nintendo 64, so this is being played through an emulator and it is a ROM hack, and that's pretty much the only current way you can actually play this game. So this is a overhaul of Banjo-Kazooie using assets Banjo-Kazooie had in it, but also putting some new textures and tons of new maps and a different layout to the game. Now this game, it's pretty interesting in how it does the collectibles, because normally Banjo-Kazooie you collect 100 notes in each world, but in this you get put into a little mini world with parts you can only get into with certain abilities, and you're trying to get the notes so that you can open up new doors and go to new levels. But the thing about the notes is that there's not a lot of them in each world. There's only like 25 in a world, and they're very spaced out and they're actually kind of hard to get to. Then there's also these Mumbo tokens you can get, which I haven't quite figured out what they do yet. I played this game for about an hour and have not quite figured out what the Mumbo tokens are. Probably for some sort of transformation, I imagine. But what that is, I'm not sure. But the platforming on this game is ridiculous. If you're wanting a ROM hack of Banjo-Kazooie that you can just kind of jump into without having to focus too much, well, unfortunately, this ROM hack is not for you. This ROM hack was very, very, very frustrating when I started it, because I couldn't figure out what I needed to do, and I could not figure out if I was missing some abilities, because you could only jump one time without Kazooie's help until you find the mole guy. I forgot his name. I think it's Bottles. You can find Bottles, and he'll give you new jumping abilities, but that's not for a couple of levels, actually. He doesn't give it to you on the first one. So it's kind of hard to platform around at first, especially in this little tree thing that I keep trying to go up, and there's these green leaves. I started thinking about getting a counter for how many times I fell off this freaking tree because the platforming is so intricate and the camera does no justice to it whatsoever. But you start to get used to it, and it's so much easier once you get the jump, but I kid you not, this game has a lot of hard platforming, so if you're wanting a challenge in Banjo-Kazooie, well, you will get a challenge, I'll tell you what. The platforming is great if you like platforming that's hard and makes you want to jump off your own real-life cliff. But the levels are designed pretty interestingly. They're designed in a way that you go to it in layers. You originally go the first level, you get your abilities, get the notes you can get so you can have a general overall larger note amount so that you can actually open up the note doors. Then you go to the next level, earn some new abilities that you can actually go back to the previous level with and get more notes so that you can open up more worlds. It's very interesting. Kind of different from the original Banjo-Kazooie for sure. In regards to the graphics of this game, the graphics were pretty much spot on Banjo-Kazooie assets. Well, it's Banjo-Kazooie at its core, but there is some custom textures by the looks of it. A lot of the areas are really dark, and that was kind of bothersome to me because I wanted a brighter area and it was kind of hard to see some things depending on the screen and my screen. Maybe it was my screen. I don't know. It just did, even it looked pretty dark on my laptop monitor and my TV monitor. So I don't know. I think partially the game is pretty dark, but music was alright. It didn't particularly stand out. I wasn't really too into the music exactly. You know, it's not Banjo-Kazooie music. It's not a rehash of the original game's music. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's original music created by the creator, or I'm not really too sure. I've never really heard any of the melodies before, so it was alright. I ended up getting to the third world, and then I died and got game over, and then the game crashed. So the game ultimately crashing is what stopped me from playing, but I felt like I had seen the game to the point I wanted to see it after, you know, an hour or so of playing and reaching World 3. The game wasn't particularly hooking to me. It was fun to play for a brief period of time, but I couldn't see myself completing the game. It's hard. It's a hard platformer, and I I really like the collecting part of Banjo-Kazooie. A lot of people don't like the collecting because it's so intricate, but I personally loved the collecting, and this is focused less on that collecting and more on the platforming side of things. Overall, from a perspective of looking at it from, you know, a developer just making a hack of a retail game and seeing what he's created from that perspective, holy crap, this is just very, very cool to see. And from a technical perspective of seeing Banjo-Kazooie modded and with new levels and new music and new gameplay kind of, I mean, it's really cool. It's really interesting to see what developers do. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoy this impressions. I'm gonna start kind of playing games for about an hour and then condensing my thoughts into a few minutes and showing some gameplay of the game and an impression series. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please like it up, subscribe it up, and I will catch you all later. Peace out, dudes.
Woo!